Hey folks, I'm Jim Bowley from JimBowley.com, and as you can probably tell, I was just playing through a few classic rock riffs such as Day Tripper from the Beatles, Walk This Way by Aerosmith, there was a little bit of Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles, and we finished up with a little bit of the opening riff from Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. And all of these riffs have one thing in common. They all use a technique called the finger roll. Now, finger rolls aren't really the most exciting guitar technique, and they certainly don't have the popularity of, let's say, hammer-ons or pull-offs or string bending. But knowing how to properly execute a finger roll is really important for achieving that smooth legato sound that's critical to your professional lead guitar line. So in this lesson, we're going to learn what finger rolls are and when they're useful. We'll explore the two different types of finger rolls, and we'll give you a great little exercise for working out the mechanics of this practical and useful technique. So let's get started. The finger roll is an essential left-hand technique that allows you to play notes that lie on the same fret level and on adjacent strings, that is side by side, with the same finger without a break in the sound. Now, by rolling your finger correctly, you can link those notes together and maintain that legato character that's so important to a professional sounding line. Without finger rolls, though, it's virtually impossible to play two notes that lie on adjacent strings and at the same fret without a break in the sound. And this is, of course, because in order to do that, you'd have to lift up your finger from one note and hop it to the next note. By doing that, you're going to create a small gap of silence between the notes, and that gives you that staccato or choppy sound, and that's usually not really what we're looking for. Usually we want the legato connected sound. Now, of course, you can always try using two different fingers to get the two notes, but this can be awkward at times and sometimes even impossible to execute well. So most of the time, finger rolls save the day on this. In our next segment, we're going to take a look at the two different types of finger rolls we have, starting with the forward roll. The most popular finger roll is the one that rolls away from you, sometimes called the forward roll. Here's an example. Play the note at fret 5, string 3 with finger 1. You should be on your fingertip. Now play the note at fret 5, string 2 with finger 1 by rolling onto the pad of your finger, like so. Now this is best accomplished by collapsing your first knuckle until it's straight and pivoting your wrist so that you roll onto string 2 and off of string 3. This will also mute string 3, so you're getting double duty out of one finger roll. With a little practice, you should be able to play both notes cleanly and eliminate any silence between them. A little less popular, but essential and somewhat tricky, is the finger roll that rolls back towards you, also known as the backwards roll. Let's check it out. Play the note at fret 5, string 2 with finger 1, but start on the pad of your finger. Now play the note at fret 5, string 3 with finger 1 by rolling onto the fingertip, like so. Now the backwards finger roll is tricky because the starting position is not intuitive to guitarists. We're taught from the beginning as a guitarist to play on our fingertip. So our default setup is almost always on the fingertip. However, in the backward roll, we really have to think ahead so that we can recognize and anticipate that our setup has to be on the pad of the finger. That way we roll from the pad of the finger onto the fingertip. To be perfectly clear, this is not to say that you should treat the backward roll as a bar of the two strings. Remember, we want to roll onto the second note, but also off of the first note, which will effectively mute the first note. If you bar, you'll get two notes that ring into each other. Which is not what we want. The backward roll takes a bit more practice, but once you understand the concept, you'll start to anticipate the setup and create a great legato sound with this technique as well. My favorite finger roll exercises are very simple, and they incorporate forward and backward rolls into the same sequence. Exercise 1 starts with finger 1 on the fingertip and rolls forward to the pad of the finger. Then we transfer to finger 3 on the pad and roll backward onto the tip. Together, it sounds like this. A little faster. Exercise number 2 starts with finger 3 on the tip and rolls forward to the pad of the finger. Then we transfer to finger 1 on the pad and roll backward onto the tip. When we put them together, this is what we get. A little faster. I would encourage you to experiment with these exercises by using fingers 2 and 4 as well, and even applying the exercise to a different string set such as strings 1 and 2. Here's an example using all 4 fingers along strings 1 and 2. As you can see, these exercises are not too difficult, but they'll give you some great practice on one of lead guitar's most underrated techniques. Hey, thanks for checking out this lesson on one of lead guitar's most underrated yet essential techniques, the finger roll. I hope you learned a little something and had some fun in the process. And please be sure to check us out at jimbowley.com, where you'll find lots of great lessons and articles that are designed to help you reach your guitar goals. We'll see you next time.